Welcome everyone back to Pommy and Oz. Hope we're all doing really well. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe. It really helps the channel out. And we're absolutely ploughing through subs at the moment, so I can't thank you enough for the support. We've got loads of draft content coming, loads of trade content, loads of finals content, loads of off-season content, all of the wonderful things that we do. We are back with a preview, so make sure you hit that like button and let's get straight into it. Carlton versus the Suns, and what a remarkable turnaround for the Blues here. We are playing 15th on the ladder, and the last time we played these guys, all the way back in round 14, it was the start of Carlton's turnaround, which is absolutely magical. Gold Coast 15th, where we were at one point, we were staring down the barrel of this. 9 wins and 12 losses for them. Carlton, though, remarkable 8-game win streak. Started at Gold Coast pre-bye, 12 wins, 1 draw, and 8 losses. And the Blues are literally 4 quarters of football away from officially locking in the finals against a side, Gold Coast, who are tricky customers themselves. Their recent form, they are on the back of 2 losses, but a very impressive win against Brisbane only 3 games ago, and a win against the St Kilda, which really did kind of, everything started to myriad for the Blues to be in the position of 5th in the ladder. As we know with the Blues, 8-game win streak, started off with Gold Coast, and literally it's just got better and better. They've knocked the 2 top 4 sides off in the comp. They will be flying at the moment, and Carlton probably rightly so go into this game as favourites. But let's look at Gold Coast. What are they about? Gold Coast are a finicky, tricky little side to play. They kick at 62% of the time. They are a very territory-based side, which, like we said last week with Melbourne, you could say this about 5,000 clubs. It's very common, but what they're looking to do, as you can see with their meters per disposal, they're looking for yardage. They're looking to counter-attack. They're looking to invite the pressure on and go. Now, their rebound 50 rate, 75%, lower than Carlton's, and their score generation, these are over the last 5 games as well, for you guys and girls watching at home. Do forgive me as well. I had a spelling anomaly early this morning. It does fix itself later on, I believe. Negative 2.6 contested possession differential and only a 0.6 clearance differential. And that's over the last 5 games played. And that kind of says what they're about, really. They aren't going to be a very super physical side that's going to dominate around there. They're looking to play football. They're looking to get it out wide, get into their fast players and play come-on football, try and hit you over the top. Carlton are going to play a deep forward press, which they've had to success. Gold Coast are going to look to try and go over that line. So Carlton are going to have a real good opportunity here to force that kick long. That's what Carlton want to do. They want to take away that kicking game. They want to really say, okay, you want to kick? That's cool. Kick through us and create them opportunities. Quite on the lower end of the scale of the mark inside 50 rate, they are a good tackle defensive side, though. They do put the effort in, and 45% of their inside 50s do generate into a scoring opportunity. Gold Coast are what you see, what you get. They're a good, honest side. 15th, though, is about fair from where they are. Carlton have to go into this game, which I have no doubt that they will after the previous performances, particularly over the last 5 weeks, that there's levels to this game. There's levels to this game. And none of that nonsense of Gold Coast are the tricky team and stuff like that. We said it about St Kilda. They're a tricky team as well. They need to go into this game knowing that what happened before is what happened before. They're a different side now. They play their brand. They impose themselves, the talent around the ground, the application of pressure, and the Gold Coast Suns book doesn't have the skill level to go. There is a man, though, in the picture there who will have a big say in this, who is a man that never dies down. He is a terrific footballer and a very good young midfield core, and he really leads Noah Anderson and Rao onto great things. Tuck Miller is a very good footballer, and he won't back down. And that's kind of Gold Coast. You have to beat them. If you keep this tight, let their tails wag, you're in trouble. As we saw against St Kilda, as we saw against Brisbane, if you don't put them away, you've got problems. But let's look at our Blues. And this is over the last 5 weeks. We've changed this from the last couple of weeks. Thought we'd give you a nice picture now of 5 weeks so you can see the massive improvement. Again, Carlton are almost at that 50-50 kick to handball ratio, which is where Carlton play their good football. Synonymous with that man, really. Taking on the contact. There was a great stat this week about him and his handball Gibbs. Patrick is huge, important in these 8 wins. His ability to really go back to basics, strip his game back from all the caveat and excitement and become more of that contested bull who takes the ball and he takes 2 players. And this was synonymous last week in quarter 4 of how he attacked Oliver and Viney, who were their standouts in defensive pressure, causing them to come to him, creating a free somewhere else where it was more of an even matchup. And that is what Cripps does. And that is Carlton's real numero uno skill set. 56 inside 50s, 79.6, nearly 80% of inside 50s against, considering that in the last 5 games, Carlton have played some top teams. They've played Melbourne, they've played Collingwood, and they've played Port, who themselves are very good at maximising inside 50 options. Shows you the stats and how strong Carlton have been. One of the top scoring side and the top defensive side over the last 5 games. These Blues are flying, and they will be looking at this makeup, and it's a very balanced makeup. We come to the crux of Carlton's strength. Contested possession differential at +14, clearance differential at +13 rounded out. The boys know their 1 wood. They know their 1 wood. They know where it is, and it's the ability to get into these tight situations and then create separation, like I said, from what Cripps does. His ability to take 2 players, get the ball off him, freeing another player up. The droves of the fact that Carlton attacking a wave of 9, the halfbacks join, the deep forward press, all of these things mirrored to winning games of football. And the Matters inside 50 rates, surprisingly, not that bad, considering that they've lost a key component and played a large proportion of these games minus their best player in this situation, in Harry Mackay, who returns. And that's probably the only staple at the moment with Carlton. They have dropped down to the lower half of mark inside 50 rate, which is obvious. Do you know what I mean? However, what that has allowed Carlton to do is become a lot more proficient. They are now finally at AFL average for creating chances, which is something that was really low early in the door, particularly their conversion of it and their tackles. This is a huge thing. This has jumped up. Carlton's defensive application and work rate without the ball ranks number 1 in the comp. And Carlton have booked the trend here. They've leapfrogged Collingwood, who were the bench setters in this. And in the last 5 games, Carlton are the number 1 top 8 side in this facet. Obviously, tackles are quite high if you crap. So there is a few sides there that are above Carlton, probably because of necessity. This is driven by desire and passion, and this is a key cornerstone of Carlton. When you compare and you do simple math, addition of contested possessions, clearances, high tackle rate, good meters gained, you've got a problem. And the problem is it's tough to beat. Carlton have been supreme, and that is where this game will be won for Carlton. Carlton are playing a side where historically over these last 8 weeks, sides that like to kick have become in trouble. You saw it last week with Melbourne. There was a real fear at times from Carlton with they forced them to kick long. They have really done that pretty well. St Kilda, very similar kick percentage. They really enjoyed it. And this is the area here where Carlton are going to be looking and going, you know what? When you kick it, the ball is in contest. And this is where we're strong. They're going to be looking to hem them back and looking to really maximise that. Let's look at the makeup of the quarters. And you'll see here Carlton are starting to become almost vanilla. Their ability to play 4 quarters and know in the situation of when to rise and when to fall is absolutely impeccable. And Carlton, their losses are less than a goal as well. So it could be even better. But as you can see, Carlton start off pretty well over the last 4 weeks and 5 weeks. And then, you know, the big thing is their ability to run out games has changed and become a real threat. And that is where Gold Coast fall off. Gold Coast have put a lot of effort to stay in games for longer times. And ultimately, they don't have the running power that Carlton have. Carlton, one of the top 3 running sides in the AFL. since the bye, which is a big cornerstone of what Carlton do, defensive work. So Carlton will be looking at this game and saying that this is a game that we can control. And ultimately, we play the way we've been playing for the 8 weeks. This game should be over at half-time and we're in a situation where we rotate. But Gold Coast are no mugs. They get a sniff. They're going to be tough to put away. But that is the big thing there for Carlton that they're always going to have in their back pocket. Gold Coast haven't run games out very well. And that is where Carlton are going to be looking and saying, you know what? We know that we have a fourth in us. And it should be a real exciting game. Let's look at the head-to-head matchups of these sides now. Our defence versus their forwards. Carlton are having the monopoly on that one. You're looking at one of the best scoring sides, one of the best defensive sides over the last 5 weeks. And Carlton will be looking at their forward line and saying that we can negate this threat. We've played 4 of the last 5 teams are a better scoring side than this side that we're playing. So Carlton will be looking at this game and saying, our defence has got it here. Do you know what I mean? Our defence has got it here. Do you know what I mean? We've played Melbourne, who were one of the most potent sides. We've managed to limit them. We're playing one of the bottom 4 ranked sides now at shots on goal. So Carlton will be looking at this and saying, yes, we've got it. Midfield, it's a no-brainer, and this is a landslide victory. Carlton's midfield is one of the number 1 ranked in the side. It's second at the moment by 0.8 of a TPI percentage, which is incredible. Carlton's midfield will be looking at this game and saying that we can gain the ascertain the control and we can control the football, which is a very key cornerstone of it. And Carlton's forward versus their defence, Carlton will be looking at this and saying, you know what, we're all right. We're all right. Just this side have got a very similar makeup to concessions of shots of sides like Sydney, GWS, Adelaide, Melbourne. Not much difference. So Carlton will be looking at this and saying that we can break them down, particularly from that forward area. When they've got a rebound 50 rate like that, that is the area that Carlton will be looking to maximise. The forward pressure, they'll be looking to really put a bit of onus on that and really make it hard yakka for them. And that's going to be a really interesting thing. And the clearance and stoppage game, as we know, this is Carlton's Wanwood, the number 1 side in the comp at this. They'll be looking to put the pressure on and make it hard. Make it hard. There's going to be no easy touches here, but also themselves, their ability to score launch from this will be strong. So Carlton will be looking at this game and looking that our core basics here win us the game without any coup de grace being added it. And that's why TPI is saying that it's a 5-goal margin. And this is the first time for a while we've had a real gap in it, because this is saying, as we talked about last week, with the tight margins, you're looking for like a 5% increase across the board when it's a goal from players, which isn't hard. You're looking for a very good game from Gold Coast. So that's where Carlton have got to do. Don't let the tails wag. Go in, apply your pressure. Very workmanlike and professional performance. And short of a disaster, Carlton will be singing the song at the end of the 4th quarter. Looking forward to this game because it's a great test. Good on his side. But 5th versus 15th, the ladder doesn't lie, especially at this time of the season. And Carlton have got to come in here and execute and be sharp, which I expect them to do. And there is no reason to doubt them. Can't wait for this game. Come and see me on the watch along. Much love, everyone. Go Blues. Pom out.
I see her rolling up, Uber black Cadillac, high heel boots and a sexy body full of tats.